Hello again, everyone. Glad that you are following my Jesus Journeys series. Episode 7 has to do with the healing of the Canaanite woman and her daughter. These two healings are related to each other and need to be taken together. The purpose of this series is to demonstrate the logic of Jesus living at the Essene monastery at Qumran by the Dead Sea, instead of at Nazareth near the Sea of Galilee. The proof is shown by the length of each of the journeys, with the sum total of all the journey lengths for the traditional Jerusalem-centered locations being almost 10 times greater than the more logical Qumran-centered locations. While following the simulations that I have built using Google Maps API, the great discrepancies of distances with the traditional journeys will give an opportunity to reevaluate other flawed interpretations of the life and teachings of Jesus. Now we're setting up the journey from Bethsaida on the Sea of Galilee to Tyre and Sidon, actually to Sidon because it's closer. Now we're setting up the journey from Einfeshka to Merd, because Merd is the place where the Asher convent is located, and Helena is the leader of that convent, and she is from Tyre and Sidon. Ready, set, go, and they're off! Jesus sets out from Bethsaida on the Sea of Galilee, and he heads north to Sidon. Jesus has already arrived at Merd from Einfeshka, so we will cut to that journey now. Jesus has reached Merd, and he will be visiting the convent of Asher, as we resume the journey of Jesus going north to Sidon. Solving the identities of the Canaanite woman and daughter requires a lot of detective work. First, there is a clue in the Clementines which defines the mother of the daughter as Helena. Clementines have been dismissed as a pseudo-romance, but actually a lot of the information there can be tracked to the New Testament and other sources. So the Clementines tell us that Helena was the consort of Simon Magus, and of course Simon Magus is one of the disciples, and he is listed specifically as a Canaanite. The healing of the Syro-phoenician Canaanite woman is in Matthew and Mark, and the healing of the woman with the issue of blood is in Matthew, Mark, and Luke, and this healing is associated with the raising of Jairus' daughter. The woman with the issue of blood is not specifically identified as Canaanite, but it is the one that is associated with the healing of Jairus' daughter. And thinking it through, you could understand that if Jairus' daughter was 12, and this was a symbolic raising from the dead, in other words, it was now Mary Magdalene's bat mitzvah. If the woman who was having the issue of blood for 12 years was the mother of the daughter, defined as Mary Magdalene here, having her bat mitzvah, how could it be that she had an issue of blood for 12 years? Well, that would indicate that she had remained a virgin since the birth of her daughter. The question arises, of course, is why she would need a healing from Jesus if she has been a virgin for 12 years. What is it that she needed to be forgiven for by Jesus? And this has to do with the history of Helena, because she was actually a temple priestess and was tricked into having sexual relations at the temple, and therefore feels guilty about the fact that her daughter really has no father. As you see, Jesus has been waiting patiently at the borders of Tyre and Sidon. He would have a much larger journey if he was really going to the cities of Tyre and Sidon. So perhaps you will allow me to just finish the story of the Syro-phoenician woman and her daughter, who are Helena and Mary Magdalene. And then we can look at the statistics for the two journeys. Luke 8 says that Mary, called Magdalene, had 7 demons, of which Jesus had cured. So in the healing of the Syro-phoenician's daughter, The daughter can be defined as Mary Magdalene because this daughter had a demon, and the mother already has been defined as Helena. If you look at the dialogue between Helena and Jesus, you will see that Helena is making a point that she and the women need to have their status raised so that they can be active members of his church. And this obviously would be the first step that would be necessary for Jesus to marry Mary Magdalene. So this healing is quite significant because it was almost like a marriage proposal from Helena to Jesus for Mary Magdalene. Now we can get back to the statistics for the journey to Tyre and Sidon. The Jerusalem-based journey was 50.78 kilometers in 28.21 hours. The Qumran-based journey was 6.44 kilometers in 4 hours. I hope you enjoyed this Jesus Journey animation, and if you would like to watch more of them, please go to the playlist at the top of the screen.